And the Browns are finally on the board. They have selected, with the 54th overall pick in the draft, Ohio State defensive tackle Michael Hall. So we're going to break down the pick, get you guys familiar, everything there is to know about the Buckeye. Yes, another Ohio State going to Cleveland. Stop me if you've heard this before. And then I'll give you my analysis and my reaction to the pick. But first, I do want you to make your own opinion and judgment on this selection. So let me tell you everything there is to know about Michael Hall. One, very athletic defensive tackle. Very different type of pick than Siaka Ika last year. Ika last year, well over 320 pounds. Michael Hall at the Combine came in at 299. So he's got a lot of athletic twitch to his game. He's got some great speed from the interior. I think this is the pick that the Browns wanted like Jordan Elliott or Tommy Togiai to be. Last year for the Buckeyes, 2 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. He was in and out of the lineup a little bit. He was never really a consistent force for Ohio State. And if I got any Buckeyes fans, well, for all the Buckeyes fans watching right now, I think you can agree that Michael Hall was a little bit of a flash in the pan at times. His second year at Columbus, 7.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. And then you didn't really see that big leap forward in year 3 for the Buckeyes. More on Michael Hall in just a moment, but do get in the comment section for me right now and grade the pick. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to save my grade for my overall draft grades video, which I'll do at the end of round 2 of the draft. So make sure, or day 2 of the draft, so make sure you come back and check out our grades video. Now, as for my opinion on it, was he my preferred choice at 54? No, I'll be brutally honest with you. But when you are picking 54, you tend to be in the camp of beggars can't be choosers. Now, my concerns with Hall are the inconsistencies, right? We just never really saw him put together what are some great athletic traits for a long span of time. But I'll tell you this much. He's 20 years old. He'll turn 21 in June, and he's a highly athletic player at a growing position of need for teams because there's lots of great edge rushers, but it's tough to find pass rushers from the interior defensive line. The Browns have made that a point of emphasis in free agency, right? Re-signing Maurice Hurst, re-signing Shelby Harris, signing Quentin Jefferson, giving Dalvin Tomlinson a big payday. Now they're trying to find some homegrown talent for much cheaper than those one year to 1 year free agent DTs. So Michael Hall, if he plays and lives up to his potential, I think he can be a really solid rotational defensive tackle. Ultimately, the Browns didn't have a major position of need to draft for. Andrew Berry likes to view the draft as house money. Satisfy all of your team needs before the draft, so you're not drafting for needs, you're drafting for best players available, which is why I'm a little bit of a head scratcher for this pick, because I didn't think he would be the best player on their big board at this spot. I thought it might be like BYU's offensive tackle, Kingsley Suamatia, maybe Mizzou's cornerback, Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Now, I'm going to share more with you guys on this reaction of the pick in just a second, but first, I want to shout out our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL draft, season-long projections for their stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. I want to share with you guys some of the notes I have on Michael Hall, 2-year guy at Ohio State. The inconsistency, like I mentioned before, was an issue. That was a big deal of him missing some time throughout his career with the Buckeyes. Have written down he averaged just 28 snaps per game the last 2 seasons, but he's also only 20 years old. So you know Andrew Berry is like the Leonardo DiCaprio of the NFL draft. He likes them young. So he thinks that Michael Hall is someone that's just scratching the surface, and that Jim Schwartz, who has always had great production from his interior defensive lineman, can get the most out of a very raw, pass-rushing heavy upside project. Michael Hall is not being drafted to be a tree stump in the middle of the defensive line to stop the run. He honestly plays a little bit smaller than his size would indicate. Pushing 300, 1 pound shy of it, you may think this is like a near nose tackle. No, Michael Hall plays much more like a 3 technique when I watched his tape. Other things I have written down is he doesn't have a lot of volume to his game, but the sample size we do have is promising. Like, for example, he was second amongst FBS defensive tackles last year when it came to a pass rush win rate, only behind Texas's Byron Murphy. The difference is Byron Murphy played a lot more football than Michael Hall did. Now, the Athletics' Dane Brugler does excellent write-ups on all of the prospects. Here's what he said on Hall. Hall was more of a flash player than consistent force. Agreed. But his quick twitch movements and natural energy are the ingredients of a disruptive gap penetrator. So I think this was a pick that Jim Schwartz is going to be rubbing his hands over, because when you look at the Browns' defensive line, he doesn't need Michael Hall to start week 1 and be a disruptive force. He's got 4 capable starting defensive tackles, 5 honestly, with Tomlinson, Harris, Jefferson, Hurst, and last year's 3rd-round pick, Siaka Ika. So I could view this as a redshirt pick, and then in 2025, when the Browns don't have Maurice Hurst under contract, Shelby Harris has 1 year left on his deal. Quentin Jefferson's a free agent. Dalvin Tomlinson is nearing the end of his contract. The Browns already have some works going in their farm system, and they don't have the pressure to go find a new starting defensive tackle if they saw some really good, solid growth and progress. To me, this also does signal that they're not super high on Siaka Ika, which, to be honest, I really wasn't either when they picked him last year. Never really viewed him as a dominant run stopper as a DT, and he was definitely too big to really rush the quarterback. So honestly, them going Michael Hall is a bit of a slap in the face to Ika. Now, make sure to subscribe, by the way, because this is the first of a handful of picks the Browns have in the 2024 NFL Draft. We're going to keep you guys up to speed and in the loop on every single selection that the Browns make. So make sure to hit the sub button down below so you can stay locked in all weekend long. Our offseason profile for the Cleveland Browns, by the way, necessarily didn't have defensive tackle towards the top of the list. I was a bit bummed when Adrian Cooper went to the Packers. I was further bummed when A.D. Mitchell went to the Colts 2 picks before the Browns, because A.D. Mitchell is the wide receiver version of Michael Hall, but just with more production. He's super young and super athletic. But we can't be too surprised about this pick, right? Mike Hall, one of the most athletic players at his position. I did a video on the channel a few weeks ago, Andrew Berry's guys. Under 22 years old and an RAS score of above 7. Guess who fits this mold? Michael Hall Jr. So yet another draft pick from Ohio State to the Browns, keeping it in the Buckeye State. But the Browns will be back on the clock again as long as they don't trade out of it for pick 85. Would love to see them go Malachi Corley, the Western Kentucky wide receiver, if he's still available. But let me know what you think the Browns should do next. Should they go offensive tackle if they want to find a replacement for Jed Wills or Jack Conklin down the road? Go wide receiver. Let me know what position you want to see the Browns select next on the draft. Now, it would not be a Cleveland Browns video without pick a card. So everyone, I invite you to play along. Pick a card. We randomly select one. We end all of our videos in the offseason this way to keep you guys engaged throughout the entirety of our video. So, Mr. Cullen Brown, what would you like to go with?
Man, crazy prediction, or crazy pick. Man, I can't even speak right now. My call is number 51.
Yep.
I'm going to go 6 of diamonds.
I'll follow suit, go 6 of hearts.
Let's do it.
Ace of hearts. Ace of hearts. All right, that's going to do it for us on our show today. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you all in a very short amount of time for the Browns' third round pick reaction.